Greetings, everybody, and welcome. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's invite some people. Welcome, everybody, as you come in. Like, share, repost. So happy to have you all here today. It's been a while since we've been on live, but we are here today and we're going to be talking about interesting topic, a variety of topics rather we're going to talk about today. Um, but all in all, we are talking about liberating ourselves, liberating our minds, our spirits, our hearts, our souls. Greetings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, please like the live, share, because we want as many people as possible that can come on in this live. I don't usually go live. I haven't gone live in a while, but we're here. I don't think I've been live in 2025 yet. So, to all those who have become new followers since 2024, since we've been into 2025, welcome. Welcome, welcome to each and every one. We're so happy to have you here today with us. And this is the Soul Awakening Sanctuary and the Sankofa Sessions podcast with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael. So welcome. Hi, $1 million, million. How you doing, beloved? Hope you're doing well today. And the topic I want to talk about today, and I was thinking, is the mind was colonized before the land. And talking about how mental slavery still affects us and controls us today. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today doing this live. I don't know how long I'll be on today, but we're going to talk a little bit. The mind was colonized before the land. Because in order to get the land, you got to colonize the mind first. Then that's what make it easy for you to grab the land. And how mental slavery still controls us today. Many of our people are still controlled mentally. And that's where the battle really is. It's in the mind. That's where the battle begins, in the mind. And once we conquer the mind, our own mind, we're not talking about conquering somebody else's mind, about conquering our own mind. Oh my, look, it's the great Mike L. How are you, beloved? I see you down in these comments. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. I missed you. One of the saints from Florida. So, yes. So once the mind has been colonized, the body and everything else follows. So we want to talk about how to establish freedom of our mind, getting rid of the chains of religious chains, doctrines, dogma, so we can really be free. Because we have been chained to everything but ourselves. Our spirits, our hearts have been chained down, been locked away. And so we are here in this podcast, in this message, and what we're doing, the content is all geared towards helping people liberate themselves, liberate their minds. Know that you and the divine are one. God is not outside of yourself, but within you. And that's what we are about. We are the podcast where we take you back into records of your glorious past to get clarity and perspective on our bright collective future. So as you come in, please tap the screen, help us out, help us share. Click like, share. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, follow, and let people know that we are here live and in living color, and we're here talking about the mind being colonized before the land. So peace and power, family. Welcome to this live episode of the Sankofa Sessions podcast. Welcome into the Soul Awakening Sanctuary movement. And this is our first live for 2025. Yay! And I'm your host, your auntie, your mother, your sister, your friend, your spiritual teacher, Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael. And we are here to just give you that push that you need to help you go further in your spiritual evolution, evolving. We cannot be stagnant. We must be progressing and evolving in this season, in this age of Aquarius. We should be evolving. We should be moving forward. We should be progressing and no longer be stagnant. Stagnation is over. If you believe it, practice it. Put it in work. Stop standing still in one position. Be a go-getter. It's time to move into that realm, into that place, into that space that you've been called to do. It's time to move into action, into doing what you have been assigned to do and what you've been brought into this earthly existence to accomplish. So many people are just sitting around. Life is just passing them by. And I'm here to tell you, stop being an innocent bystander in your own life. Get to work. And so before we talk about stolen land, I need to talk about something deeper, the stolen mind. So let's talk about that, the stolen mind. So many people's mind have been stolen and captured and they don't have no clue that their thoughts are not even their own, that they're being programmed by what we watch, programmed by what we listen to, programmed by the content we consume, programmed everywhere. From childbirth, we've been programmed. And so now that when we trying to shift our consciousness, expand our consciousness, now we got to be aware now that, well, I got to deprogram. Because much of everything that I know, I've been programmed to know. And it's been not a programming of liberation. It's been a programming of colonization, being programmed to not how to think, but what exactly to think. And so that's what we're doing, the work of removing the veil, removing those things that have been placed within us that keep us bound. And so the mind was colonized before the land ever was. And if we don't reclaim our mind, we'll keep repeating cycles. We'll keep rewinding and repeating the same cycles over and over again. The cycles of bondages, just with new names, new faces, modern change, but it's still the same. So that's what we're going to really dig into talking about today. So as you come in, tap the screen, like, share, comment. And let me say this, this is a little sidebar. Some of the people who may be coming in who are just seeing me on your For You page, you don't know anything about our content, and you see the title Chief Apostle, don't let that scare you. Don't be confused. This podcast and our mission is to teach liberation, decolonization, and deconstructing from religion and harmful theologies, ideologies, philosophies, doctrines, and dogma. We are here to help people that are leaving organized religion and are looking to liberate their faith, decolonize their faith, their whole concept, and reprogram their self to really walk into liberation, walk into their authentic self. That's what we're about. And we're spiritual. So don't, because some people, they see cheap apostle and then they say, oh, they talking about that, that old school church stuff. No, honey. There are people who are spiritually inclined that are apostles, prophets, or whatever title, because many people are spiritual. We use different titles to describe what we do. But honey, we are here in the business of waking up our people, because letting them know there is a spiritual awakening going on. And it's time to wake up those who have been asleep and arise, so that Christ can give you light. And the Christ we're talking about is Christ consciousness, Christ in you, not outside of yourself, in you. And if you haven't watched the video an episode that we posted this morning, please go and watch it, because we talked about awakening the Christ within. Because many people, we've been taught about a Christ and not knowing what that is all about. And understanding now that we are awakened, how does that Christ concept fall into play for us? And how does it work for us? How do we put it in perspective so that we're not talking about external Christ, we're talking about a Christ within, and awakening that power within us to do, to be, to have, to accomplish. It's already in you. You don't have to wait for something to happen. What's happening is you moving in alignment. That's what we need to do. We need to move in alignment. So greetings, everybody. Portia Lapkin, it's so good to see you. I haven't been online, so on live, and so it's so good to see you again. So I'm going to ask about the Holy Spirit. The Spirit is within us. The divine is within us. It's not a moment where we receive what is already within us. It's a moment when we realize what we've always had all along. So this is liberation. That's what we should be seeking. Liberation. So let's break this down today as we begin our discussion. Mental colonization is when you think, believe, your whole programming and behavior is based on someone else's belief system, someone else's agenda. That's what mental colonization is all about. Again, when you think, you believe, you behave, all based on someone else's agenda. But most of the time, it's when you don't even know it. It's when you quote scriptures that keep you in fear. It's when you judge yourself by a whitewashed standard of holiness. It's when you pray to a Savior outside of yourself that don't even look like you, because you were taught that power had to look like your colonizer. Beloved, that's not spirituality. That is a mental slavery. And that's what has been left for us today in this time to really work on. Moving into spirituality, not mental slavery. As I've been saying lately, a lot of people are making a great grand exit from organized religion, from the church, from religion in general, no matter which religion. People are making an exit because people are saying, listen, this ain't it. We've been doing this for how long, and it's not working. It's not liberating our people. So now it's time to do something different. You've been going into a building and they've been collecting your money. Oh, yes. They've been collecting your money. You've been paying this tithes and offering. Going into the church building week after week. Going to prayer meeting, going to Bible study, going to, revivals, conferences, conventions. But nothing has changed in your life. One of the reasons is because, number one, faith without works is dead. You're praying for someone else to do it when Spirit is saying it's for you to do. God in you is saying it's for you to do. Stop praying for something to happen. What needs to happen is you to get a move on it. Everything you need to accomplish what you've been called to do in life is already within you. You don't have to pray for it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to plead for it. You just need to wake up and realize that I am what I've been praying for. I am what I've been needing. I am what I have been waiting for all along. So you got to understand your oppressors just didn't take your land. They took your mind and replaced it with a program that would serve their interests. So somebody said, how does it happen? How does it happen? Well, here's how they did it. They gave you a religion that tells you to submit, to suffer, and stay silent. Just think about how many people have suffered in silence. Going to church, but still suffering in silence. Following their religion closely, but still suffering in silence. How many women have gone through abuse, mental, physical, emotional, but they stay in the marriage because the church taught them that they got to stay. They got to submit to a man who don't got more common sense than a bean on a stalk. Let's talk about it today, honey. Let's talk about it. It's been a while since I've been live, so let's talk about it today, honey. The oppressor gave us a religion that taught us to suffer. They glorify suffering. What's the big deal in making a big grand thing about suffering? What's so good about suffering? Let's think about it. Why do we glorify suffering? Instead of glorifying people making it in life, glorifying being successful. It's not hard to be successful. You just got to shift your mindset. You got to let go of those limiting beliefs that have been taught that success is only for a certain group of people, or you don't need to be successful because then you'll leave God if you're successful. Honey, God is in me. The divine is within me. I can't leave what I'm already am. I can't leave what's inside of me, what I'm made of, the substance that I'm made of. I can't leave it. Because that which I'm made of, that made me and brought me into being, brought me to where I am today. So how can we ever be separate? Because we're one. So when Yeshua commonly called Jesus said, I and my Father are one, he is one with the divine consciousness that created the universe. We all are one. We are one with that one spirit. So the oppressors gave you a religion that told you to submit. But what are you submitting to? Man-made ideologies, man-made rules. Submit to people and not to your own divine intuition and spirit. You're told to suffer. The more you suffer, the greater the reward. How does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me. We've been told to stay silent, suffer in silence. How many children have been neglected and had to suffer in silence because the parents said, what goes on in my house stays in my house? Y'all know that table talk, especially in the African American home. How many of our children have suffered in silence? Let's think about this. And this is what the programming has done to us. It has dummied us down that we will not stand up for ourselves. We don't even know how to stand, what it feels like to stand up for ourselves. A lot of us have lost our voice. We never found it in the first place. We never had it. Why? Because we were programmed not to have an opinion, not to have a say, not to think about things, not to use our critical thinking skills. So when somebody comes teaching this kind of talk, liberation, awareness, conscious thinking, it sounds strange. Why? Because we've been programmed to do the total opposite. And so somebody like me and others like me, we are trying to help you shift your mindset, shift your paradigm, to help let go of the programming that keeps you locked in to poverty, that keeps you locked in to degradation, that keeps you locked in to a version of yourself that you don't even want no more. So you say, how did the oppressor program us? Well, here's another reason how it happened. They gave you a savior who doesn't look like your ancestors. Woo! That's a big one. They gave you a savior that didn't look like your ancestors. They taught you to pray to Jesus, but the Jesus they taught you didn't look like your ancestors. Because if you grew up in an African American family, especially, if you grew up in the USA, especially, 9 times out of 10, if y'all were Christians, the Jesus that was on your wall was painted by Caesar Borgia, his lover, which was commissioned by the Pope to make. And it was a pale, white, blue eyes, long, blonde-haired European. And that's the picture of the Jesus that the world was given. And that's just a picture of a regular human being. So those are the things that we got. They gave you a savior that didn't look like your ancestors. So they disconnected you from your lineage. Told you to pray to this European on the wall. When you go to many of the churches and the stained glass window, what do you see? The same European image in their churches to worship. So this is how they program us. Your visuals, what you intake visually, helps to program you, believe it or not. You, for example, you're not hungry at all, and you see a commercial about a nice juicy steak, baked potatoes. Next thing you know, it may not even be that day, but a couple of days later, I want a juicy steak and some baked potatoes and this, that, that. How did that get in your mind? How did that get planted in your mind? You know how? By what you watch, the content that you consumed. It now planted this idea in your mind. It didn't come out of nowhere. You were being programmed by what you watch. When you watch TV, what is that? Television. Tell a vision. Programming. When you watch different programs on TV, programming, you're being programmed to view the world in a certain light. So we got to watch who we allow to program us, what we are being programmed to. So another way the colonizers programmed us, so they gave us a religion that told us to submit, gave us a religion that told us to suffer, and the more you suffer, the better you are, the more the reward. Gave us a religion that told us to stay silent, just to take whatever. Slaves, obey your masters, for this is right. Obey your mother and father, for this is right. Yes, obey your mother and father, but what if your mother and father telling you to do the wrong thing? Do you yet obey? See, that's not talked about. And what else is not talked about is that whole original concept about your mother and father, so your days may be long. It's not even talking about children, like little children, obeying your parents or taking care of your parents or respecting your parents. It's talking about adult children respecting and looking after the elderly parents. That's the original context for that. But many times we're not taught these things. We're taught that no matter what you go through in this world, it's okay because once you leave this world, you got a greater reward. See, that's escapism. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but that's escapism. It's not teaching you how to deal with things here and now, how to work things out for your betterment here and now. It's just telling it's okay, take it, because when you die, you have a better place prepared for you. And who said that? Just think about it. Who told you that? Did your grandmother come from the dead and tell you that? Did your aunt and uncle or your mother and father come from the dead and tell you that? No, it's something that we were sold and we bought into. Y'all worried about, a lot of people are worried about the life after. What about the life right now? The abundant life you should be living. For those who are my Bible thumpers, Yeshua, commonly called Jesus, said, I come that you might have life and life more abundantly. Well, where's the more abundant life that you should be living? Where's an example of that? You don't see it. So they gave you that, then they gave you a savior who don't look like your ancestors. So that puts a complex in your mind that anything holy and divine doesn't look like you. This is how they program your mind. So it programs you to look, the savior that you worship is white, and then your oppressor is white. So everything that's holy, divine, and righteous must be, you guessed it, white. This is the programming. They programmed our minds. Then they gave us a Bible. They edited it, twisted it. First stole different sacred texts and compiled them all together in one book and called it the Holy Bible, but twisted it to fit an empire. It is there to support the empire and what the colonizers wanted to do. Woo! Now I know the Bible thump was going to come for me, but that's all right, honey. So they say, well, be humble, wait for heaven. Don't question your pastor. Don't question your pastor. Don't question God. Well, let me ask the question. This is my question to those who say, don't question God. Is your God or your concept of your deity or what you worship has a fragile ego that it can't be questioned? Something's wrong with that. Why can't you question God? What's wrong with the God, the concept of God that you worship, that it cannot be questioned? It sounds like manipulation and control to me. Ooh. Talking about waiting for heaven, but what happened right now? In the church, they teach you, well, we are preparing you for the afterlife. Well, how can you prepare me for right now? Because the afterlife we don't know about. We're told about. Speculations about, but we don't know about. What about right now? What we do know? What can you do to help me right now? And this is why many people, especially younger people, are exiting from the religious setting because, hey, it's not working. It didn't work for our grandparents. It didn't work for our parents. Sure enough, it's not working for us right now. So either you put up or shut up. Talk about don't question your pastor. Why? No human is above reproach or above being called into question. This is what causes an imbalance of power. You got these churches where the pastor say, if you don't like it, you can get out. How you going to say you can get out? How you going to tell the Congress, the people that put the money together to build this place, that if they don't like it, they can get out? You see what I'm talking about? The manipulation and the control. Manipulation and control. So they say, don't question the leader, don't question the pastor, as if the pastor is your God. So these are the things that we are facing today. These are the things that people are facing right now. So that's not holiness. That's programming. I'm gonna say that again. That's not holiness. That is programming. And if you're still living under the colonizer's thumb, if you're still living under the colonizer's script, you're not yet free. You're just comfortable in captivity. And that's what many people have come accustomed to. They're comfortable in captivity. They don't want to be free. They don't want to leave captivity. They're comfortable in captivity. That's why when people like me, somebody like me come teaching a consciousness awakening, telling you to spiritually awaken yourself, come back to your divine self. Oh, no, I don't want to hear that. No, I don't want to do that. That's too much work. Deconstructing is too much work because now I have to face the reality that almost everything, if not everything I was told from childhood was a lie. It was an illusion. It was not real. It was not the truth. It wasn't the gospel. And I built my life upon what I was taught, what I was told, because I believed they had my best interest at heart. And now I found out that it's not true. What do I do? This is why a lot of people do not want to deconstruct because it can be heart-wrenching. It can get very messy. Greetings, everybody. As you come on in, please tap the screen, like, share, repost. It becomes a daunting task sometimes, too much for some people to handle. But I guarantee if you stick in there, start asking the right questions, you'll begin to see it's worth it all. It's worth the work. Now, let me say this. I'm not here to judge you at all. Now, if you want to stay comfortable in captivity, so be it. Now, that's not my prerogative, honey. That's between you, or as the old folks used to say, between you, your God, and your Savior, your soul. So we're not here to judge you. We're here as a beacon of light to show you the way. If you feel called and ready to elevate your consciousness, to move away from limiting beliefs and ideas, to leave the religious doctrine and dogma, to really accept who you've been divinely created to be, we're here to lead the way. We're not here to judge. We're here to wake you up. to give you a different light, a different perspective on life. So let me give you a few signs to see if you're still mentally colonized. Here are some signs that you can observe your own life to see if the mental chains are still intact in your mind and in your life. Number one, you feel guilty for questioning your beliefs. If you feel guilty for questioning your beliefs, the mental chains are still intact. I'm sorry to tell you. It just is. Because nothing you believe should not be able to hold up under the light of questioning. Reason and questioning and reasoning should not be something to be fearful of. Your belief should be able to uphold under scrutiny. So again, if you feel guilty or you feel guilt about questioning your beliefs, the mental chains are still intact. If you were taught that your emotions are demonic, the mental chains are still intact. I'm going to say it again. If you have been taught that your emotions are demonic, your mental chains are still intact. Your emotions are not demonic. You just need to learn how to work through your emotions. Learn how to deal with your emotions. But your emotions are not demonic. A lot of people, this is what they've been taught. That their emotions are demonic. Greetings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. You are tuned into the Sankofa Sessions podcast, our live edition, and the Soul Awakening Sanctuary with your host, Apostle Veronica Yisrael, global spiritual teacher, leader, guide, high priestess, and founder of this movement. And we are here bringing you teachings, ancestral wisdom, and power on decolonizing, deconstructing your faith, and rebuilding your life for success, prosperity, and elevation. We are here helping those who are willing and ready to expand their consciousness, and that's what we're about. So if you feel guilty for your questioning your beliefs, if you feel that you were taught that your emotions are demonic, the mental chains are still intact. Your emotions are not demonic. You just need to know how to manage, know how to process your emotions. If you believe suffering is holy, honey, I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you that the mental chains are still intact on you. Because there ain't nothing holy about suffering. Nothing holy about suffering. And that ain't nothing but the truth. If you shrink yourself to make others feel comfortable, the mental chains are still intact in your life. If you fear your own spiritual gifts and power, the mental chains are still intact in your life. Why are you afraid of your own spiritual gifts and power? A lot of people, we allow people to talk us into believing that, we don't have the spiritual gifts and power that we have. But you just thinking this up. It's just in your mind. No, honey, you saw what you saw, you heard what you heard, you felt what you felt, and you know what you know. And don't let nobody come and try to take that from you. You're not crazy, you just awakened. You're not crazy, you just vibing on a different frequency. Your frequency is different than theirs. Your vibrations are not on their level. So don't feel like you're crazy or something's wrong with you just because somebody else has not moved out of the limiting beliefs and they're still there. Don't let that stop you. Don't let someone else issue and problems stop you. It's their problem, so it's their problem. Leave it as that. It's their issue. That anybody got an issue with you walking in your authentic personality? If anybody got a problem with you walking into your authenticity, you being who you were divinely called to be, what you know to be, when you are self-determining your life, somebody has a problem with that. That's their problem, not yours. Do not take on that problem as yours because it is not yours. They have a problem with you being who you're supposed to be and who you are, so be it. Do not let that dictate how you move in life. Because so many people are miserable right now because they make decisions based on the opinions of other people. They do not build the life around themselves and what they know they've been called to do, who they know they are. They're living a lie. That's what living a lie is about. When you know deep down inside that it's not you. When you know deep down inside the life you're trying to live up to please people, it's not who you truly are. That's what living a lie is about. Not about your self-determination and what you want to be and all that and living that, your true self. No, living what you know is not you. But because people say you'd be good at it, oh, so you should do this. Oh, you'll be a great doctor, so you do it. Oh, you'll be a great nurse, so you do it. You'll make a good husband. Even if you know you'll be the worst husband ever. But you do it because you want to please mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, grandmother. We have to let go of that trying to be people pleasers. Because you end up pleasing everybody but yourself. And at the end of the day, everybody else will be making the decisions for them. They will be pleasing themselves by their decision. And you will be left out, living life for them. My mother, who's gone on to the ancestral realm, may her memory forever be blessed. She used to say, do what benefits you the most. This was one of her phrases. Do what benefits you the most. Do what's best for you. Do what benefits you the most. Because guess what? Everybody else will. Everybody gonna do what benefits them most. Everybody gonna do what's best for them. So then why shouldn't you? Why won't you do it? Stop putting your life. Nah, I don't been on a whole different tangent now. Spirit done took me a whole different way. Spirit done took me a whole different way now. Why are you gonna put your life on hold for other people? Don't put your life on hold for other people. Because ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Because you will live to regret it. Because later down the line, you look and say, I have missed all of those years I could have been doing X, Y, Z. All because I allowed fear to control my life. Ooh. We allow fear to control our life. That's right, Brother Mike. Yeah, we were taught to wait on the Lord. And the Lord that is there is the law. The Lord is the law. And we need to wait to get in alignment with the law, not an individual. Get in alignment with yourself. We were taught the wrong understanding of waiting on the Lord. We need to wait to get in alignment. See, so many people, quote unquote, waiting on the Lord and ain't nothing happened yet, honey. And why nothing has happened yet? Because you ain't made it happen. Everything that you need to make it happen, you already got it. You just need to do something about it. And that's the problem with many people. They are waiting on something else, not knowing that what they've been waiting on is them all along. Woo! Wow. So if you feel your own spiritual gifts and power, the mental chains are still intact in your life. If you have dreams and visions, and you can see things, you're gifted. You're not crazy. You're gifted. And then allow people to cause you to feel that something is wrong with you, that you're the oddball. Like I see somebody commenting in here, something, the dead know if nothing, honey. The dead know a whole lot. Number one, what are you calling dead? Because what's truly dead is those who are walking around that's not awakened, that's not conscious. That's who's dead. They're dead walking around. Those who've gone on to the ancestral realm is not dead because spirit was never born, so spirit cannot die. Energy cannot die. It moves from one state of existence to another. When you leave your earthly existence, you don't die. What this shell, see, this is what we got to understand. Once we awaken and expand our consciousness and become elevated, we understand that I am not my body. I am not this shell that you see. I am what animates this shell to talk to you today. What I am is what animates this body to move. And once that life force, that energy, that spirit that's within this shell of a body splits and leaves the body, this dirt, this clay will go back to where it came from. And I will continue to travel on to my next existence into the ancestral realm. But we were taught in the church, in religion. See, this is another form of colonization. Oh, the dead knoweth nothing. As if to say if somebody's dead, then that's it. When you're dead, you're done. So that's the kind of thinking. And what I got to say now, I know I'll piss some people off with this, but honey, if that's the case, then when Jesus died, then that means he ain't nowhere either. He don't know nothing. Because surely he died. And I go right on back to the prophet Samuel. And when the woman called up his spirit from the ancestral realm, quote unquote dead, and Saul and her, and they spoke to him. If he didn't know nothing, he was dead, then, well, what was happening? So a lot of times we just talk to hear ourselves. We don't talk from an educated perspective. We talk from a closed-minded understanding of spirituality. And really, it ain't even spirituality, it's religion. Man-made dogma and doctrines that we've been programmed to believe and hold true. And we don't go out of that circumference. We don't expand outwards. We just keep insulating inward. Another way to know that if the mental chains are intact, a sign that you're still mentally colonized, if you're uncomfortable with Black or indigenous spiritual practices and traditions. I'm going to say that again. If you are uncomfortable with Black or indigenous spiritual traditions and practices, you are still colonized. The mental chains are still intact in your life. You're afraid of the mental chains are still intact. That's right, Thomas Clay. A lot of what we were taught as children was not correct. And I am glad too that you're learning. I'm glad that one day I woke up and started learning. Because honey, when I started finding out, oh, wait a minute, this ain't true. This ain't true. Especially one of the main things that really made me start, because I've always been a lover of spirituality, religion, various things, and customs and practice. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for joining us. Please tap the screen, like, share, comment. We're so happy to have you. One of the things that's got me really on this path is when my mother used to take me to the library, me and my siblings. And when we moved to to the city, they built a house there. Let's go to the library. We lived right up the block. We lived downtown, right up the block by the library. We used to go there, and I would go to the religious section. I would pull out all the books, and I would just sit there and read by Hinduism, by Christianity, and all its denominations, about Judaism. But what wowed me, and floored me is that when I started really studying and researching that Judeo-Christianity, and that's a whole nother thing. How you going to be Jewish and Christian? Judeo-Christianity is split. That's a whole bipolar thing here. That's a topic for a different day. But Christianity is built on Judaism. Then I began to research, because we were taught as growing up in child that, the Jews are the people of God, God's chosen people. Then I began to question, well, why would a deity, the creator of the universe, have a certain special people? Well, what is everybody else, chopped liver? I began to think about that. Then I began to think about, well, what about these Jews? Who are these, Because I knew growing up that, I was born and raised Jewish, but I was like, well, who are these people? What are they? Then I began to find out that the world knows Jews to be Europeans. But in the ancient world, these Hebrews, these Jews, these Israelites were people of color, were black people. They were not white. They were not Europeans. And that's what set me on a trail that it was like one little piece of cloth, one little string at the hem. And I kept pulling it. And the whole dress and outfit starting to unravel. And I began to examine everything I was taught. And I began to see that, it's not really what it's cracked up. It's not really what they've said. It's not really what all they've taught. Then I began to study, well, what about these other books? Because even in the Hebrew Bible, it mentions books that's not in the canon. So where are those books? It mentions a book that's not here. Where is it? Then I began to search that. I said, oh, man. So you mean to tell me this is not the original anyway? Somebody done tampered with this? That this is a creation of people that got together and put it together? It didn't just come out the sky from heaven? Everything began to just click. And the chains began to fall off at a young age. So we have to do the work. So if you're uncomfortable, I got to get back to that point. If you're uncomfortable with Black or indigenous spiritual traditions and practice, you're still mentally colonized. What makes European Christianity superior to indigenous spiritual practices? Let's talk about that. What makes European Christianity superior to other spiritual indigenous practices? Let's think about that. It's not superior. It's how we've been programmed to believe. Just like many people have been taught in the church, oh, you don't light candles. That's not of God. But they got Yankee candles in their house. So you're not supposed to light candles and pray. But in the Catholic Church, the mother of all churches in Christendom, they light candles and make prayers. Think about it. People say, oh, you're not supposed to pray to the dead or communicate with those that are deceased. However, in the mother church of all Christendom, Roman Catholicism, they pray to Mary, they pray to Jesus, they pray to saints. Let's think about it. So it's nothing wrong with our Black indigenous spiritual traditions. And returning to that means returning to your ancestral power. Returning to that means returning to yourself. Think about it. A lot of people, we are taught against altars, setting up altars. But all through the Hebrew Bible, talk about altars where sacrifices were made. The Catholic Church have altars. A lot of people talk against burning incense. But in the mother church of all Christendom, the Roman Catholic Church, what do? They burn incense in prayers. When you look at the Hebrew Bible with the priesthood and the temple, what do? They burn incense and prayers, candles, lights, made sacrifices. They put bread out, drink out, made prayers. See, we were taught that all of these practices that are indigenous to us were evil. And the practices they gave us was holy. But what makes it holy and ours not? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And really begin to awaken. So, family, this is how they keep us colonized. And they hide the chains inside of our consciousness. See, it's not physical shackles anymore. It's on the brain. And that's how they hide it. It's in our consciousness. So the way we think, it's the way we believe, the way we process things. So you may ask yourself, well, all that sounds good and well, Chief Apostle, but how do we break free? How do I break free from these chains you're talking about? Well, we got to become alchemists. Yes, alchemists. We must become alchemists. We must stop waiting, number one, for someone to come save us. And we must start mastering our minds. Ain't nobody coming to save you. And I know my fundamental Christians hate for me to say that. But ain't nobody coming to save you, honey. The second coming has already happened. Let me tell you when the second coming happened. When your consciousness is awakened and you have a shift in consciousness, when you have an expansion in consciousness and the Christ within is awakened in you, that is the second coming. Nobody coming out the sky to deliver you and take you anywhere. And that's a truth that we don't want to acknowledge and admit. There is no physical second coming anywhere, nobody coming nowhere to get you. That is something that we've been programmed to believe. Again, escapism, looking for something outside of yourself to save you. And I know people don't like to hear that because it shoots a hole in their whole belief system. But baby, it just gotta shoot a hole in it because it's the truth. We in the business of waking people up, not lulling nobody to sleep. And people talk about Jesus paid it all. Well, if he paid it all, honey, then what you doing? What you doing? He paid it all. What you doing? Song said, must Jesus bear the cross alone, all the world go free? No, there's a cross for everyone. Yes, there's one for me. You have your part to do in your own plan of salvation. Your plan of salvation is what you make it. You got to do your part to make yourself free. Your cross to bear is you shifting your mindset and you working through the limiting beliefs that you've been taught. You decolonizing and decentering the colonizer's mind that they've placed inside you. So we got to start mastering our minds and not let other people master our minds, not let other people control our minds. We must be masters of our own minds. That's right, the programming. Oh, the program is so deep. The program is so deep that you'll call somebody who don't believe like you a demon, a witch, a war. You'll result of name calling just because someone that don't believe like you. Woo! See, that's what this whole thing is about, teaching us how to be alchemists. And the new series that I'm going to be putting out this week, starting later this evening, is about, the series is about alchemy, mental alchemy, new thoughts, reprogramming, black spirituality, be alchemizing our minds, shifting it from one state to the other. Knowing that you were not born broken. Let me say that again. You were not born broken. A lot of people are taught that something was wrong with you. You were born in sin, shaped in iniquity. Honey, no, speak for yourself. I was not born in sin and shaped in iniquity. I came out perfect, whole, and entire, and that is what I am. I was born holy and righteous, not born and shaped in iniquity. No, ain't no such thing as original sin doctrine. No, that's man-made, contracted hogwash. And that's the first step in how they confuse us and get us into sin consciousness instead of Christ consciousness. To believe that you're defected, that something's wrong with you, and they got the cure for it. No, you don't got the cure for it because there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to buy into your religion, into your doctrine, because that's not for me. That's for you and your people, not for me. See, the colonizers say, come on, let me baptize you and accept you into the family of God. No, I don't need to do that because I'm born into the family of God. I am God. That's what Jesus said. That's what Psalms 82 says. Have I not said that ye are gods and are all children of the Most High? When the last time your pastor told you that you were God? Wow. Probably never. Have I not said that ye are gods and are all children of the Most High? That's right in your Bible. But you're not taught that. You wasn't taught that in Sunday school, honey. You wasn't taught that in Sunshine Band. You wasn't taught that in children's church. Heck, the adult church ain't teaching you that, let alone the children. So you were not born broken. That's what you got to know. You were programmed. to believe you were broken. You were programmed to believe you were powerless. You're not powerless. We got to watch the words that we speak about ourselves and the things that we say and the songs that we speak. You know, there's one song talking about such a worm as I. Why would you consider yourself to be a worm? Let's make it make sense. Or save the wretch like me. What makes you wretched? Let's think about these things. I'm not no wretch. I'm not no sinner saved by grace. I'm not no sinner at all. Because you got to figure out what is sin. Who categorizes sin? Who says something is sin? Who has the right to say that? See, that's all sin consciousness to pull you into belief. So no, I don't need to go in your baptism and be baptized to come into the family of God. I was born into the family of God. I am God. See, rituals. The Christians, the church, they will criticize you for practicing your indigenous practices and rituals. But they do rituals too. Baptism is a ritual. Christening is a ritual. Weddings, marriage weddings are a ritual. All these things are rituals. Call it a different name, but it's the same thing. In Black indigenous spiritual practices, when we go to the river, the water, and we go and immerse ourselves, put different oils on us, burn incense, pour libations to our ancestors. All of that is rituals as well. Just like when they go to the church and they'll call us a holy communion around a table with bread, wine, juice, rituals. So let's learn to put things in perspective and look at things as it is. Stop believing that it's not what it is. No, honey, get over the illusion. It is what it is. So you were not born broken. You were programmed to believe you were powerless. So it's time to rewrite the script, beloved. Rewrite the script, not the one they gave us, not the script they gave us, honey. It's time to rewrite that. But the one our ancestors left for us. That's the script we need to go back to. What our ancestors left for us. You know, a lot of people, I was saying this, talking to somebody, and I was saying, you know, especially those of us that are Black or African descent, born in America, especially in the South. Hoodoo is a part of the culture. It's a part of the Black experience. And a lot of people say, oh no, honey, hoodoo, that's not of God. That's what said, blah, 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 blah. We got a whole lot to say. But we have not educated ourselves. We have not studied. Or even in the Bible, it says that in Timothy, study to show thyself approved. And a lot of people ain't studied to show themselves approved. They're just showing themselves ignorant. I'm saying, oh, honey, I don't have nothing to do with hoodoo. Okay, well, when New Year's Day come and New Year's Eve come, are you cleaning the house, washing clothes, cooking collard greens, cooking turkey, cooking, what's that other thing we cook? Hoppin' John. Hey, boo. Hey, love. Oh, so good to see you. I hope you've been doing well. Thank you for the rose. So, yes, that's all a part of the culture. Hoodoo. New Year's Eve, cleaning the house, washing clothes, cooking collard greens, cooking Hoppin' John. Making sure that on New Year's Day you don't wash no clothes, because if you wash clothes, the old folks say you wash something right out your life. That you don't sweep on New Year's Day because you'll sweep something out of your life. Or the first person to walk in your door, make sure it's a tall man. Walk in your door, the blessings coming. All these things. Now we just thought, oh, that's just what that's hoodoo. These are practices our ancestors left for us. But we've abandoned because the colonizers say it's not right. It's ungodly, it's unholy, it's pagan. Oh, yes, they say it's superstition. But all of this, some people say, oh, honey, I don't believe in hoodoo, but let somebody sweep over your foot. Our ancestors say when somebody sweep over your foot, spit on the broom. They make you go to jail. So you spit on the broom to cancel it out. Our ancestors say, don't put your pocketbook on the floor. That's how you keep losing your money. That's how you keep. So these are things that we were taught by ancestors. Everybody else follows the tradition of the ancestors but us. Think about that. We call it anything else. I don't believe in all that. Okay. Let certain things happen. We'll see what you believe in. Our ancestors lived a long time. They taught many of us, and some don't know it no more, don't practice it no more, so it's a lost art, but told us how to work with nature, how to go in the woods and find certain plants for medicinal purposes, to heal your body, to heal the body of your family. But we ignored those teachings for pharmaceutical drugs. And how's that working out for us? Somebody talk to me. How's that working out for us? It's hurting more than it's harming. Or rather, should I say it's harming more than it's harming us more than it's helping us. And these are the things that we have to conquer in this day and age, because we have neglected the path that our ancestors carved out for us for the colonizers' way. And we are living to regret it. You have to know that you have the power to rewire your subconscious mind. You have the power to heal inherited beliefs. You have the power to align with the divine mind. You have the power to practice spirituality rooted in truth, not trauma. Now, I'm going to say that one again. That's for somebody in the back of the spiritual bus. You have the power to rewire your subconscious mind. You have the power to heal your inherited beliefs. You have the power to align with the divine mind. And you have the power to practice spirituality rooted in truth and not trauma. Because some people are practicing something that's rooted in trauma, not truth. Can't even call it spirituality because it's religion. If a lot of people be honest, the only reason why they go to church, the only reason why they quote unquote got saved is because they don't want to go to hell. Not knowing that heaven and hell are not geographical locations, but are states of consciousness. And you have heaven and hell right here on earth. What you need to wait to die for to go where you already exist. Shifting your state of consciousness shifts you into heaven or hell. Going against universal laws causes you to experience hell. Aligning yourself with the universal law and working with it brings you the experience of heaven. Right here on earth. People talking about streets of gold, honey. I don't need the walk on gold. I need it right now. Especially in the climate, the economy what we living in. You need it right now, honey. Not in the great beyond. Why do we need gold way in the afterlife? And you ain't had none here. Let's make it make sense. So if this is hitting your spirit, if this teaching today on this live is doing something for you, I want you to let us know in the comment section. Put in the comment section, I'm breaking the chain. If this live episode today is helping you deconstruct and decolonize, I want you to put in the comment section, I am breaking the chain. Or put a chain emoji in the comment section. Let us know that you are ready to reclaim your mind. Tag somebody in this live who needs to hear this. Tag somebody who needs to be awakened to understand that God is within them. See, we've been taught that God is on the throne sitting way high up, but not been taught that the throne is within you. That God is within, not without, not exterior, but interior, in the inside, with you. Old saints used to sing a song, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. Well, honey, because it's with you. The divine is with you. God in you. So let me ask you this question. What's one belief you were taught growing up that you know was a part of the programming? You can put it in the comment section. What is one belief you were taught growing up that you now know was a part of the programming? Put it in the comment section and let's deconstruct together. Let's help each other deconstruct. Because this is a community. The Soul Awakening Sanctuary Movement is a community where we gather and we help each other deconstruct, decolonize. Push each other, knowing that there's life after decolonization. That you can free yourself, you can free your mind. You don't have to live in chains and in fear for the rest of your life. That you can let go of fear. That fear doesn't have to rule your life. You don't have to allow fear to control you. You don't have to let your trauma, your experiences of the past dictate how you live today. Yes, your childhood may have not been great. Yes, you may have grew up in what the quote unquote called the ghetto. Yes, you may have grew up in the slums. Yes, you may have grew up and not in a single parent home. Your father may have not been there. Mother may have not been there. Family may have been strung out on drugs. All of these variables may have not been able to go to college, may have not had the education that you want, but you have to understand that none of that dictates your future. That you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. That the creator of the universe have given you the free will and the power to create the destiny that you want, that you desire. You just have to reprogram your mind for success, prosperity, and elevation. That you have to stop believing the illusion that you are helpless, that you can't do it. There are people who've never ain't even got more than a fifth grade education and are billionaires, millionaires, have made buku money, businesses, because they got what mattered most. They got the education of life. They know how to observe. They know how to make decisions quickly and stick with it and slow the change. They know how to shift their mindset. They know how to focus on what they want and go after it. So many people got so much education, but they don't know how to stick to a task. They're everywhere and nowhere at all at the same time. Some people are everywhere and nowhere at all at the same time. And we have to know how to put things in perspective. Stop allowing the outside world to dictate to us who to be, what we can be, what we can't be. I remember somebody told me years ago, and they said, "What you want to be?" I said, "Oh, maybe a lawyer or a judge." They said, "You can't be that. Lawyers are liars." What I didn't know is some of the greatest liars that ever existed was in the church. That man standing behind that pulpit, that woman standing behind that pulpit. Some of the best liars that ever existed. So they didn't tell me that. It's not till life started teaching me to make your own decisions. Stop making decisions based on the opinions of other people. When people come and say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you," stop them right there. Number one, I'm not you. You're not me. Because 9 times out of 10, the people that tell you all that they wouldn't do if they were you, if given the chance and opportunity and they were in your shoes, they would do that they told you they wouldn't do and more. So beware of taking advice from people who don't have a proven track record. How you going to take marriage advice from somebody who have not had a successful marriage? Come on, let's use common sense here. I know sometimes common sense ain't so common no more, but let's think about it. Critical thinking skills. You don't need to take advice about marriage from somebody who haven't had a successful marriage. I mean, somebody, a divorcee, they can tell you what not to do. But we need to be careful who we're taking advice from, who we are listening to, who has our ear, because it's programming us. Just think about it. You had the slave master praying to a God, and you had the slave praying to a God. And you have to think, were they praying to the same God? And who was God listening to and answering? These are the questions that church folks don't like to hear and don't have an answer to when you ask. Because these are the things that make you think. You can't jump and shout over this. You have to think. So that you can reprogram your mind to know that you can do anything. There's nothing in this world that you cannot do unless you decide that you can't do it. Nobody can stop you from being all that you want to be unless you decide that you can't be it. If you make up in your mind that I'm going to let everything go that I was programmed and I'm going to accept me for me. See, other people may not accept you for you, but you have to accept you for you. You have to be able to love who you are, whether someone else do or not. They might not ever love you for who you are. They may not never ever see you for who you are, but are you able to see who you are and love you and accept you for you? As I often say, even if nobody ever have your back, you have to have your back. Blessing XD Wayne. Yes, I know it's been a long time since I've been live. I have not been live in 2025. This is the first time, and you've caught me, so I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you, and I hope you've been doing well. And welcome to this great new year of 2020. Seeing so many things unfold. Surely there's a spiritual shift and awakening happening in the earth. People may not believe it, they may not see it, but there is a spiritual awakening happening. People everywhere are waking up and seeing things from a different perspective. People are waking up from the illusion and really seeing what is happening around them. People are starting to look within and search and find out who they truly are, finding themselves and learning to be authentically them. So many people that listen, maybe on the sound of my voice, you have been everybody else but you. Now it's time to walk in your authenticity. You've tried to be everybody else but you. Now it's time to walk in your authenticity. Stop trying to be what everybody else wants you to be and learn to be you. Just be you. Just be you. Who don't like it? Let them kick rocks. Just be you. Because who else you going to be? Everybody else is taken. But there's somebody waiting for you to come into your own. Because that's, a lot of people are waiting to see the blessings, the manifestation, all that. But it's because you're not being authentically you. That's why it can't happen. You're trying to be Susie and Jane and Billy John, Susie. You're trying to be these other folks instead of you, honey. It ain't gonna work. Be you for a change. That's what people are gonna connect with when you are you. When you put the facade aside, be who you are. Be authentic, be genuine. No matter what it is, be genuine. See, energy can be felt. You will never know true peace until you know you. Till you can live with you. A lot of people expect other people to live with them, but you can't live with your own self. Can you live with yourself? That's why some people, they got to be around people all the time. They need somebody to stay with them all the time because they have not learned how to just live with themselves. Learn to be at peace with their own company. That's why some people, they're on the phone with somebody 24/7 because they hate the silence. Because in the silence is a lot of noise. See, in the silence, you begin to find out who you truly are. Learn to sit with your own thoughts. Can you do that? If you can't stand you, honey, you sure got no chance of nobody else standing you. Learn to work on those parts of yourself. Stop pushing in the shadows. Stop pushing it in the shadows. Bring it to the light and deal with it. That's one thing the church don't teach you, how to deal with these things. Talking about they casting out a demon, honey. Child, please. Deal with those parts of you. Because they're all a part of you. Just deal with it. Bring it to the light. Start working on it. Work on those parts of your character that you know need tweaking. Or those parts that need an overhaul. If everybody's saying that you got an attitude or you nasty talking or whatever the case, honey, everybody can't be lying. Oh, I better get off here. Everybody can't be lying. Somebody telling the truth. Sounds like you just might be in denial Are you in denial? Think about it. Are you in denial about who you truly are? You've tried to pray it away. You've tried to fast it away. You've tried to do everything. And guess what? It's still there with you. That lets you know it's a part of you. And so you need to integrate it. You need to work on it. Be comfortable with you. So look out. This podcast, this episode, hopefully by tomorrow or later on today, it will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch it at your leisure. And be on the lookout for our new series, podcast series called Mastering the Mind, the Power of Mental Alchemy. That will be our next episode of podcast episodes and videos that you'll be seeing popping up, and we're going to be talking about that. So we'll be diving into, in this series, hermetic principles like mentalism, vibration, and correspondence, just to name a few, to help you transform your entire life, your entire reality from the inside out. So be looking for that. Make sure you follow us, turn on your notifications, and catch every episode. And we love you. And if this has been a blessing to you, consider giving a financial contribution today, and support our mission. If this is blessing you, the Cash App is in my link, and it's probably in the comment section too, but it is $ capital VSY lowercase ISRAEL 2021. Again, the Cash App handle is $ capital VSY lowercase ISRAEL 2021, and support our vision in this podcast and help us to continue to bring forth great content and helping people to decolonize and deconstruct together, and to be a part and join this movement of the Soul Awakening Sanctuary. And we're so excited. And so before we close out today, I want to give you this affirmation. So affirm with me. I am not programming. I am. Let's start over from the top now. Everybody together. I want you to say it with me. I am not my programming. Say that. I am not my programming. I am the author of my mind. I break the chains and walk in divine power. So we're going to say that one more time. I am not my programming. I am the author of my mind. I break the chains and walk in divine power. Amen and Ashe. This is Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael reminding you, before we reclaim the land, we first must reclaim our mind. So I love each and every one of you, and I want you to stay free, stay powerful, and stay divine. Always know that you are powerful, you are creative, you are the epitome of the divine consciousness that created the universe. You are God in flesh having a human experience. And never let anyone, any ideology, any philosophy, any dogma, doctrine, or anyone's negative opinion tell you otherwise. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. And beloved, make them call you by your name. Always know that we are here rooting for you. I love each and every one of you. Always subscribe, give us a follow, and keep up with our content. We love all of you. And until next time, peace be with you.